Right, this video shows you how to sort out your work rate data. So scroll down, you've got to sort all the data now. So you can see all my work rate data there, but it's not in order. So if you highlight all the data and go all the way down, and then once it's all highlighted, right click, press sort, and then custom sort, and you want to do it by column A. You want to make sure it's A to Z, press OK, and it's put everything in alphabetical order, so it's a lot easier for you to sort out. What I would do now is make a new sheet and export all the work rate stuff in there. So it's easier if you keep it in order of speed. So if you take your walking data first, and then obviously the jogging next. And finally the sprint. Okay, so we've got all our time data sorted now, all of this in order. What I'm going to show you how to do first of all is to work out the percentage of the overall work rate. So what you first of all need to do is total up the total for all of your different work rates. So walking total, jogging total, sprinting. But you also need the overall as well for the percentage. So the way you get the walking one, you press equals sum, open up the bracket. You need to highlight all the walking. Once you get to the bottom, close the bracket, press enter, and it's added it all up for me. So I'm going to do the same now for the jogging here. And finally for the sprinting. And the way you're going to work out your overall, you just go equals sum, open your bracket and you just total all three totals up. Okay, so now we're going to work out the percentage. So the formula for percentage is you will have to divide it by the overall total and then times that by 100. So you go equal, open a bracket, press this, and press divide by that, close the bracket and times by 100. Before you finish that now, in between the whatever your letter is and whatever your number is, because it won't be the same as mine, just insert a $sign like that. Now the reason you're going to do this is so that when I copy the formula down to these next two rows, Excel recognizes that it's always got to divide whatever the first total is by this cell. So if you press equals, now what you need to do now, if you highlight this box and where this solid green little square is by here just in the corner, hover over it and you get your black cross come up. Left click, drag down, and it just copies the formula all the way down, and that gives you percentages now. So we know how often our formula was walking, jogging, and sprinting. Best way to show this is through a pie chart. So if you highlight walking, jogging, sprinting, hold in the control button, which is on the left, bottom left of the keyboard, and then left click and drag again. It highlights everything you need. go to Insert, and go to a pie chart, and it gives you your pie chart. Shows everything you need. I just noticed a spelling error there. Okay, so you notice that just fixed it in there. You can change colours, so just double click and then right click and then fill, and you can change it to whatever colour you want. If you click once, it has all three of them highlighted. So now if you right click, you can add data labels and just put my percentages in. Right, so now we've got our pie chart with our percentages. What you need to do is show a distribution curve. This gives you an opportunity to visually see the skewness and the kurtosis of the data. So first of all, what I'm going to do is I'm going to change the format. So for example here, I can see that Dartfish, with the way I've exported the data, is shown in thousandths of a second. So what I'm going to do is divide these totals by 1,000. So all I need to do with that is press equals that divide by 1,000. Pull that down. Okay, so what this has done now is actually express this properly in terms of seconds. So if I had divided these by 1,000 at first, they would show them in a second. So what I want to do now is show my distribution curve. So again, like we did with percentage, I'm going to highlight these three. Press Control on the keyboard and highlight these three. And then you're going to insert a line chart now. So go All Charts, come down to Line, double click. So on a scientific graph, you can't have the grid lines. So left click on a grid line and press Delete to get rid of them. Double click on the curve. Brings this up, go by here, go down to the bottom. You want a smooth line, so click that and it makes the line nice and smooth for you. And now you can comment on the kurtosis and the skewness. So kurtosis is on about the peak, so how flat or how high it is, whereas the skewness is whether it's towards the left or the right. Now what I've done for you is I've put the research methods chapter on Blackboard, so this PDF here, and it's got information on skewness and kurtosis. So for example here it talks to you about positively skewed and negatively skewed curves and shows you examples here, so it's just to remind you, so just makes it easy for you to describe the data.